In this lesson, we will kick off our Autodesk Revit 2017 architectural project lesson. And we are using Revit 2017, the full design suite. So it has the structure and the systems and the architecture all built in, which is very handy. So we're going to start the project off, and I'm going to use the out-of-the-box architectural template file, only because along the way we'll learn some stuff about, loading stuff and settings. If we start with a predetermined template file, then we've kind of skipped over a bunch of stuff. So the whole idea that we're starting with the out-of-the-box template file is good, because then we have to kind of add to it. And that's also what you'll see if you were to be using Revit on your own. So let's do that. Let's go up. Now we can list our default template files in here, but if we go up to our application pull down and we go to options, okay, we can go to file locations, and these files are these files. So if you use a typical standard imperial or metric construction, electrical, maybe you have a template for commercial projects or industrial or hospital or healthcare, residential, you can have different template files, and all you do is add them and organize them inside of here, and then click on here and browse to where you want that template file to be. So just so you know that. But what we're going to do is go into here and say new file, say a new project file. And from there, it's going to list those same files that are over here that we showed you a minute ago. I'm going to hit browse because when I installed my Revit, it asked me what I want to units, and I said imperial. So it's always going to go to the imperial stuff. So I'm going to just go up a level into templates here. You can see where that's located. Okay. And I'm going to say US metric. You can pick your own country, wherever you happen to be. And there's the default basic one, and then there's a construction one, and there's a structural and electrical and mechanical. Okay, it's important if you're going to do mechanical or structural or electrical, use one of these or build your template on that. I'm just going to use this default metric. That's it. Very plain Jane template file. So this starts up a blank project with a couple of views, couple of levels, and some families loaded, but really not much there. Nice and clean. That's why I like it. So these are elevations. That's our south, east, west, south, east, west, and north. Okay, we're going to leave everything as is, as in project north and all that stuff, and we're going to have a look at the project base point just before we get started here. But you can see there's a couple of views, level 1 and 2 in site plan, and of course site plan would have all the site and site related categories turned on, trees and shrubs and entourage and contours and stuff, right? We have a couple of ceiling plans, our 4 elevations, and no legends, schedules, or sheets. And then we have some families. So if we go down in here, we'll see, okay, well, there's one door family. That's not going to do. We're going to have to load some doors. There's some floor types, okay, basic floors, and we might use some of these. Okay, we've got stairs, roofs, windows, walls, okay, basic wall, curtain wall, and stacked walls. So basic walls. So it's got some walls in there. We can click on there later and have a look inside and see what those walls are made up of. So we've just started our project using the default template file. And I just want to have a look at the project base point here before we get started. Now, I wonder if it's turned on in our site plan. Let's go to our site plan. Sure enough, there it is. There's the survey point and the project base point. If you tab to toggle, you can read down here. It says site, project base point, tab again, survey point. Okay, so tabbing between, just to show you that there's 2 different symbols there, and they're currently set to be 00, etc., etc. So that's just something to note. We'll think more about that when it comes to linking files, because you really should have a project base point. So that's kind of like your 00 of if you were to compare it to using AutoCAD. So that, I'm going to say, in my case, is going to be the lower left corner of my building, just so that when the structural and mechanical people might try to do something later, if they're using this as their base file, that they can do the same thing. And that way everyone's coordinated when you link in your projects. So just taking note of that, and I'm going to go back to my main floor. Okay. And I'm not going to draw anything. The first thing we're going to do when we come back is to draw some grid lines and have a look at our levels. So levels and grid lines are really the first thing. So what we want to do now is we want to save this. So we're going to go up to here and say save as project. And then what I want you to do is to go navigate somewhere here and save this. And we're going to call this, arch-01. Okay, or arch proj maybe. -01, and then save that somewhere, anywhere. And then when we come back, we're going to build on this file. And there I've created a folder called Revit Files on my hard drive, and I've named my project, and I'm just going to do save. And that's saved away, and we'll come back in our next lesson and look at levels and grids.